Please sit down. Prynawn da, a croeso I Gaerdydd. Good afternoon. Welcome to Cardiff, to the Utilita Arena, and to our 2024 graduation ceremony. I'm Baroness Jenny Randerson, and I'm the Chancellor of Cardiff University. And it's a real privilege to be here today to celebrate this momentous occasion with all of you. May I offer a warm welcome to family, friends and supporters, to our Honorary Fellow, and of course to you, the class of 2024. Today we celebrate the extraordinary achievements of students in two of our schools, the School of Healthcare Sciences and also the School of Optometry and Vision Sciences. Acquiring a university education is no mean feat, so I congratulate you not only for securing a place at Cardiff University in the first place, but also for the dedication and commitment that you've demonstrated to get you to where you are today. Most of you will have started your studies when staff and students were still battling against the impact of COVID in our daily lives. So you deserve even greater praise for your success. So congratulations to you all. Llongyfarchiadau I gyd. Over your time with your school, you will have grown in a myriad of ways and impacted, and you will have done so in ways which have impacted many aspects of your life. Students in the School of Healthcare Sciences have helped take its teaching and resources from strength to strength through their feedback. You've recently benefited from new state-of-the-art learning facilities at Heath Park West. Because of you, new funds have been secured for radiography teaching, which will continue to improve the school's offering to students. You've all developed into highly trained, competent, and caring health professionals. And your school wishes you all of the luck in the world as you embark on the next stage in your life. Those in the School of Optometry and Vision Sciences have been immersed in world-class optometric education and eye research. Your teaching and learning has evolved to meet greater clinical responsibility placed on optometrists. As new graduates, we know you will continue to learn and determine the future for the benefit of patients. The postgraduates among you will have benefited from learning and teaching in the school's Teach and Treat clinics, or been able to study new modules such as independent prescribing and therapeutic laser intervention. All of you in both schools have been taught by world-leading scholars, some of the brightest minds on the planet. And now it's your turn. Your qualification tells the world that you are ambitious, passionate, and have a brilliant mind. Embark on the next stage of your journey with all of the confidence that brings. Now, for some of you, today will be tinged with sadness as you say goodbye to Cardiff, this vibrant, colourful, and diverse city has been the backdrop to your journey through university. Of course, the charm and character of Cardiff is difficult to give up, and some of you have already decided to stay and call Cardiff home for the foreseeable future, whether this is through work or further study. Either way, as you cross this stage today, in a short while, and step foot outside the front door of this arena, you will be doing so as a Cardiff graduate and a member of our alumni community. Cardiff University will always be your university, and so wherever life takes you, we hope that you will become a flag bearer for this great institution and carry forward our values of kindness and generosity of spirit. We ask that you stay in touch, come and visit us often, and share your experience of Cardiff University with the wider world. Finally, I want to thank your family and friends who have come to support our class of 2024 today. Your presence here makes the day even more special for them. You are here because you are proud of their achievements. So as they cross the stage, please make sure they notice you are here. We need lots of loud and enthusiastic applause. Don't hold back. This is not a time for polite clapping. For now, to those who are graduating, I ask that you sit back, enjoy the ceremony, and savor the moment. I hope we will add another special memory to the collection you've grown over your time with us, and your graduation will be something you can fondly look back on in the years to come. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the proclamation, and I have the pleasure of introducing Deo Sean Llywelyn Owen. Deo will read the proclamation and a poem by Wales's inaugural national poet, Gwyneth Lewis. Now, many of you will have encountered Gwyneth's work before in the form of the 6-foot-high words, thought to be the biggest poem in the world, on the front of the Wales Millennium Centre. Gwyneth has been writer-in-residence at the University School of Physics and Astronomy and is now an honorary fellow. Her poem, Education, was specially commissioned by Cardiff University. Diolch yn fawr.
Education by Gwyneth Lewis. Beiddia feiddio gwellhad y wneud. Myna geisio parcha ddweud. Traws newidiad fydd dy glod, dy ddyfodol mentro bod. Learning's a passport that returns you home a better person. It permits you to dare being daring, makes you secure with not knowing everything, helps you welcome some failure, forges an alloy with others' thinking. It is simple delight in mind and its motions, scintillates but isn't deceptive, admits the joy of institutes, is the open road to everywhere but bigotry. It's the shortest distance between you and me, and if you're lucky, it never ends. Byddaf yn awr yn darllen y cyhoeddiad yn gyntaf yn Gymraeg ac yna yn Saesneg. I will now read the proclamation, first in Welsh and then in English. Nerth gwlad ei gwybodau. Boed hysbys i holl aelodau'r Brifysgol ac ar hyd a lled y byd fod cynulliad o Brifysgol Caerdydd yn cael ei gynnal heddiw ym Mhrifddinas Cymru. O dan awdurdod siartel frenhinol y Brifysgol, mae'r cynulliad hwn yn cyfarfod i dderbyn y myfyrwyr sydd yn rhinwedd eu hastudiaethau a'u hysgolheictod wedi harholi'n briodol yn unol â statudau'r Brifysgol ac wedi cael yn deilwng o'i graddau. Wrth ddathlu llwyddiant y rhai sy'n graddio yn y cynulliad hwn, fe'i hatgoffwn o'i cyfrifoldeb i gyfrannu at werthoedd y Brifysgol hon, a nod iddynt hwy i'w ceisio, drwy eu cafloniadau, wasanaethu ar lles pawb, ymdrechu i sicrhau rhagoriaeth ym mhob peth ac yn boeni am ddyfodol ein byd. Gwrandewch yn awchus ar ddoethineb gan ei fod yn cynnig gobaith a gwirionedd ym mhob cenhedlaeth. A nation's strength is in its learning. Let it be known to all members of the university and throughout the world that today in the capital city of Wales, a congregation of Cardiff University is taking place. Under the authority of the university's Royal Charter, this congregation meets to receive those students who, by the virtue of their studies and scholarship, have been appropriately examined according to the statutes of the university and found worthy of their degrees. We celebrate the success of those who graduate in this congregation, and in doing so, remind them of their responsibility to share in the values of this university. It is for them to seek, through their achievements, to serve the common good, to strive for excellence in all things, and care for the future of our world. Be attentive to wisdom, for it offers hope and truth in every generation. Diolch.
Prynhawn da. I'm Madison, your former Vice President Societies and Volunteering and your current President of the Students' Union. Cardiff, it's a privilege to address you today, a day which you will all remember fondly for the rest of your lives. For many of you, today marks the end of an era and the beginning of the next chapter of your life. At the beginning of this journey, many of you would have been faced with the exciting but daunting prospect of moving away from home, whether that be from Pontypridd, Portsmouth, or Peru, making new friends and perhaps living independently for the first time. None of these are easy feats, so for that, I congratulate you. During your time at Cardiff, you may have had to overcome some challenges. You may have been the first in your family to come to university. You may have been a carer or have dependents and have had to balance that with university life. Or maybe you've battled with something else entirely. You should all feel very proud of what you've achieved, both personally and academically. The experiences that you've shared together in a seminar room, a society, or a sports club. The opportunities that you have embraced and the relationships which you have built have made you into the graduate and the person that you are today. As you reflect on your time here, let's acknowledge the hard work and dedication that has brought you to this moment. It's not just about the degrees you hold, but the friendships you've made, the lessons you've learned, and the growth that you have experienced. You may or may not know exactly what you're doing next, but as you step into the next chapter, carry with you the resilience that you have developed and the memories you've cherished. Face the future with confidence, knowing that you're equipped to tackle whatever comes your way. May your care ever be for the good name of our university and the well-being of the world. Congratulations, class of 2024.
Pnawn da chi gyd, good afternoon. Fenw i'r Athro Damien Wolfe-Davies for you Provost at Dirprwy Is-Ganghellor Prifysgol Caerdydd. My name is Damien Wolfe-Davies and I'm the Provost and Deputy Vice-Chancellor of Cardiff University. And I'm delighted that today my job is a very, very simple one. It is warmly to welcome all students to receive their awards at a particular point in the ceremony. And I'll say something about that moment, if I may, shortly. But first, people, on the question of noise. The Chancellor has already referred to this as an issue, and it's a major issue. Look, I'm going to be frank with you. This week, as students have crossed the stage, it's been unearthly. We've had all sorts of vocal ranges showcased, all sorts of primal cries. The point I want to emphasize, and you know I'm agreeing with the Chancellor here, is that these noises are nothing short of poetry. We like them, we want more of them, and we would like the volume to be cranked up. Do we have a deal? And I know you'll keep it classy because you're about to become Cardiff graduates, so the class will be there at the same time. It's a serious ceremony for obvious reasons, and we're an old university. We're very proud of the past and our traditions, but let's put it differently by saying that the emphasis today is on people, it's on individuals, and it's on joy. And a quick word about this red carpet running in front of me here, down which the students will process. They'll be doing so as individuals, and it doesn't seem a long runway, but it is a long one. It's also a very, very short one, all of which to say, please clap, keep up your resilience, keep up your support as each student crosses, and give all of them, whether you know them or not, the same love, support, and joy. Agreed? Okay. Okay, a bit of magic here before we start. Once all the students for each award have crossed the stage and returned to their seats, I'm going to ask you to stand. And it's at this point in the ceremony that we observe a Cardiff University tradition. And I speak in Welsh at that point to receive each group of graduates to their awards. And the Welsh formula I will use when translated reads like this. Through the authority conferred upon me by the university, I receive you to your award with all the privileges that this confers. Congratulations. And in Welsh, which is where the magic lies, trwy'r awdurdod a roddwyd I mi gan y Brifysgol, derbyniaf chi i'ch dyfarniad a'r holl freintiau a ddaw yn ei sgil llongyfarchiadau. You'll know when to do the whoop whoop, okay? You'll just know it. I now introduce Professor Nicola Innes, Head of the School of Healthcare Sciences, who will present undergraduate students for their award.
I, Professor Nicola Innes, introduce those who have received the degree of Bachelor of Science. Yusra Hassan Omer. Megan Salita Adams. Anna Elizabeth Agnew. Karima Ahmed. Sarah Ahmed. Lois Alexander. Sabira Ali. Samiha Ali. Stephen Allen. Lucy Maria Allen. Eloise Anderson. James Anderson. Keris Annandale. Christina Antonio. Michael Ariel. Simon Grimé Anyalam. Aisha Kodomi Babagana. Natalie Baez. Olivia Bailey. Mia Balkwill. Henry Barnard. Hannah Barrett. Evie Bater. Charlie Bax. Abby Ray Beavis. Miriam Iris Bellamy. Sophie Louise Bennett. Maria Bertowska. Jessica Bainan. Jamie Sean Charlie Bingham. Josie May Blake. Molly Blanco. Christopher Newman Bond. Victoria Anna Booth. Jean Xavier Bushra. Megan Bowen. Eleanor Bradley. Rosa Megan Brew. Eleanor Rose Brooke. Victoria Brown. Joseph James Bruce. Isabel Caris Buchan. Freya Morgan Buck. Rachel Lee Burgess. Thomas Burns. Katie Bird. Kathy Campion. Samantha Margarita Carswell. Josh Chan. Sophie Florence Chapman. Charmaine Hoi Ching Chung. Joel Chick. Sama Chowdhury. Hannah Coates. James Connor. Katie Convey. Rob Paul Howard Cook. Olivia Kate Cook. Elenith Coombs. Holly Cooper. Caitlin Cope. Orla Neve Mary Cottier. Emma Elizabeth Courtney. Madeline Crabb. Laura Crossley. Rebecca Crossley. Isabella Culnane. Olivia Daly. Anwin Fionn Davis. Faye Elizabeth Ruth Davis. James Joshua Davis. Martha Emily Davis. Megan Davis. Nicholas Stephen Davis. Maisie Lee May Dawson Watkins. Madeline Gadura Deborah Davis. Bethan Denham. Phoebe Jane Rofe Davis. Dennis. Sorry. Hannah Victoria Dixon. Alexander John Dolby. Owen Drew. Katie Louise Duffy. Terrace Dunn. Brian A. Edwards. Ellie Edwards. Johan Edwards. Renee Edwards. Rama Fari Elmi. Lily Grace Ennis. Daniel Esson. Bethan Evans. Emma Arwin Fay. Emma Feeney. Maeve Nora Foley. Jessica Lily Foster. Eleanor Frith. Frederick Louise Furnish. Maya Gibbons. Sarah Emily Gibson. Mia Elizabeth Glover. Charlie Graham. Melissa Green. Molly Green. Cara Mary Griffiths. Sophie Rhiann Griffiths. Bethan Louise Gwynn. Charlotte Haig. Zoe Hall. Catherine Rebecca Hargett. Alice Harney. Justin Harris. Joel Harrison. Tom Hawkins. Lydia Hayward. Emma Healy. Hebe Catherine Henderson. Mia Hinton. Daisy Holden Crawford. Neve Patlin Horn. Alicia Howells. Amy Yvette Hughes. Charlie Hughes. William Hunter. Oliver James Isles. Christopher Irwin. Hannah Catherine Isgrove. Megan Ives. Neve James. Seren James Williams. Zainab Jamil. Helena Janat. Thomas Jeans. Amy Jeeves. Benjamin Jenkins. Elsa Elizabeth Jijimon. Fionn John. Elliot Johns. Amelia Johnson. Alo Maru Jones. Alicia Jones. Neve Olivia Scarlett Jones. Rhys Owen Jones. Amy Jade Keating. Rowan Keeling. Emma Roisin Kelly. Francesca Mary Kent. Ria Afzal Khan. Mia Kirk. Benjamin Kinniston. Shauna Lee. Grace Leggett. Emily Lenehan. Danielle Louisa Lovebridge. Catherine Grace Lynch. Ruby Simone Maddock. Manal Mahmoud. Orla Mallon. Gethin Marshall. Nicole Elizabeth Martin. Chloe Mawiney. Emily Jane McCarthy. Tom McFarlane. Emma McGaughey. Charlie Melson Morgan. Neve Elizabeth Merrison. Amy Mitchell. James Mitchell. Roisin Moody. Roisin. Ellen Moore. Oliver Michael Morgan. Joanna Rhiannon Morris. Hannah Rhiannon Mortimer. Oliver Mulvihill Wilson. Sophie Andrea Murtagh. Holly Alice Nixon. Corrady Orderendy. Anna O'Keefe. Aidan Joseph O'Regan. Chloe Osborne Walsh. Fionn Owens. Larissa Amy Palmer. Alison Pamposa. Charlotte May Hannah Parkhouse. James Richard Parry. Asiya Patel. Harry Payne. Lucy Ann Penton. Melanie Phillips. Lydia Pickhaver. Daniel Cower. Emily Price. Neve Price. Jessica Louise Pritchard. Hannah Jade Prosser. Humaira Isha Qureshi. Aliyah Fareen Rahman. Sean Frederick Ralph. Sadie Olivia Rawson. Emma Reid. Charlotte Jean-Marie Rees. Kimberly Rees. Helen Grace Reid. Shania Jane Reynolds. Elizabeth Rice. Madeline Eva Rich. Benjamin Richards. Honey Lou Richards. Emmy Ringrose. Alice Roberts. Amelia Roberts. Amy Roberts. Ben Roberts. Alice Molly Rogers. Holly Mae Rowland. Carmel Royston. Martina Dorota Rytskowojska. Anna Ryan. Sandra Saban, Elizabeth Sadler, Ryan James Samuel, Isabella Quine-Sale, Chloe Scarf, Eleanor Searle, Amy Seisman, James Seaton, Ruth Elizabeth Seller, Ari Shenwhite, Kate Sargent, Eve Elizabeth Seaton, Arushi Shah, Keris May Shaw, Ellie Shoffley, Eli Shoffley, Madeline Sider, Aisha Sikwa, Lily Mae Simpson, Oliver Skelton, Katie Slade, Leah Smith, Olivia Lauren Smith-Herbert, Shan Snowman, Zoe Strapley, Matthew Steele, Annie Elizabeth Stevens, Megan Stolzenberg, Daniel Stone, Molly Stone, Sumaya Somi, Halima Tarlati, Anya Claire Tancock, Abby Victoria Tarpey, Alice Heather Thomas, Caitlin Wynne Thomas, Kerry Thomas, Eve Thomas, Emer Thompson, Leah Thorne, Sally Katie Thorogood, Rachel Tibke, Kiara Tocci, Florence Saffron Twigger, Charlotte Eve Twine, Lottie Twine, Poppy Elizabeth Twart, Will Vanderplas, Damaris Ventris, Archie Vincent, Elsie Vincent, Paul Vincent, Oliver Edward Walker, Ruby Morag Walker, Rachel Warner, Emily Warren, Callum Timothy Webb, Noah Anthony White, Tatiana Wyman, Beth Wigglesworth, Thomas Wilde, Abigail Beatrix Francesca Williams, Caris Williams, Christopher Paul Williams, Erin Reese Williams, Georgina Faith Williams, Lauren Amber Williams, Teleri Williams, Ginevra Louise Wilshire, Ben Wooding. Lucy Marie Woodruff. Katie Woods. Amelia Ray. Safa Zaman. I, Professor Nicola Innes, introduce those who have received the degree of Bachelor of Nursing. Nakiblo Nakubi.
I, Professor John Wilde, introduce those who have received the Certificate of Higher Education. Yamini Palmer. I, Professor John Wilde, introduce those who have received the degree of Bachelor of Science. Caradog Abel Aled. Bulima Ahmed. Ritaj Ahmed. Saman Iman Ahmed. Sophie Alcock. Jawad Baba. Eva Barrett. Kira Bassett. Devakshi Bardwi. Chen Bing Queen. Amber Block. Finley Brown. Emily Bryant. Isaac Bull. Rohun Chamba. Sumaya Chaman. Emily Chatfield. Pamela Onyung Chung. Mariam Muhith Chowdhury. Wing Lang Chung. Tegan. Tamara Jade Connor. Erin Ellie Coombs. Emily Coverdale. Ruby Jennifer Cullen. Megan Caris Davis. Molly Davis, after you. Kajal Mukesh Dipala. Ellen Caris Dilks. Priya Doyal. Taylor Doucette. Norez Youssef El Galai. Lucy Claire England. Kai Murathin Evans. Ji Wen Fu. And Jess Foreman. Daniel Gavin. William Geary. Phoebe Gentle, Toby Gibbs, Isha Kaur Gill, Samuel Golding, Gursimran Kaur Guhuni, Emily Gunning, Owen Hampson, Sophia Hayat, Mohammed Samuel El Hay, Soha Mohammed Hemraj, Molly Hillard, David Ryan Hobson, Leonie Ayers, Rakeen, Isabel Catherine Jones, Simran Kachela, Supna Kerai, Grace Kerr, Deepika Khalil, Salman Khan, Sarah Khan, Priyanka Lakia, Eileen Angela Laporta, Charlotte Lemurry, Benjamin Lilly, Rui Min Lim, Dominic Ludlow, Lily Marr, Papia Manuharan, Savannah May Matharu, Martin Musai, Lee Shung, Caitlin Nightingale, Tuana Nyaku Pinda, Jasmine Partridge, Shivani Juhi Patel, Tukshana Patmasri, Malin Andrew Puskasu, Isaac Putty, Nazia Rahman, Isabel Ralph, Annabelle Rivoire, Madeleine Rouse, Abby Royce, Isha Saeed, Sayafi Salam, Afra Sali, Ashutosh Shah, Neha Shah, Sag Shah, Sibka Shamim, Arun Singh, Lydia Stevens, Jake Sutton, Kerry Tan, Trinity Tang, and Emily Michelle Taylor, Esme Taylor, Daniel Christie Texon, Savannah Tava Raj, Kripa Thomas, and Perrin, Ariadne Basilikos, Sharuka Vijay Vasan, Hafizia Sonia Wahid, Megan Westercott, Sophie Kristin Yang, Yu Jae Un Yong,
You were classy, kind, and you had stamina there. That's very good. Well done. And there's more to come. A wnaeth y myfyrwyr hynny sydd newydd groesi'r llwyfan sefyll os gwelwch yn dda. Would all the students who have just crossed the stage please stand? Now I want everybody in the arena to remember this moment. Trwy'r awdurdod a roddwyd I mi gan y Brifysgol, derbyniaf chi i'ch dyfarniad a'r holl freintiau a ddaw yn ei sgil. Llongyfarchiadau. Congratulations. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Steddwch os gwelwch yn dda. Be seated. Thank you.
I, Professor Stephen Riley, introduce those who have received the postgraduate certificate. Hassan Ahmed. Chris Francis. Lauren Herbert. Jamie Lambachaya. Yusa Mohammed Ali. Emike Christopher Okafor. Sarah Phillips Marouk. Pauline Roberson. Catherine Toombs. I, Professor Stephen Riley, introduce those who have received the postgraduate diploma. Lara Marie Baker. Nicola Bardsley. Samuel Bustamante Beltran. Eleanor Bird. Stephanie Christian. Emily Cohen. Amber Elizabeth Flowerdew. Yasmin Ford. Georgia May Gonzalez. Abby Howard. Theodora Yana Howells. Karen J. Seelan. Ray Bethany Langton. Katie Lay. Amber Short. Amy Traxon. Thomas Williams. I, Professor Stephen Riley, introduce those who have received the degree of Master of Science. Fozia Alamad. Hanadi Alanese. Asma Alatabi. Ahmed Aldari. Basma Alatabi. Reem Abdulaziz Al-Shubayt. Akan Kasha Airi. Radhika Sunil Baheti, Preeti Balani, Janvi Banushali, Shristi Bhatt, Caitlin Borge, Priyanon Bull, Apurva Chavan, Nupur Chitray, Ashvaya Chorgay, Niharika Sintare, Joseph Cook, Sean Rachel Crinson, Tanushri Sunita Paragdav, Kushali Desai, Halak Yatin Desai, Hendrik Eck, Justin Egagara, Bhavya Gore, Neha Gautam, Rituja Nankishore Garg, Thomas Gilpin, Isha Gokale, DL Leonore Josephine Goai Furtado, Shrusti Gujare, Kushun Awaji Hakami, Shristi Jain, Divya Katakshum, Yodagi Vidya Priyajanaka Jayaranatha, Shloka Rahul Shilpa Jayvant, Giannina Joseph, Nibha Nitin Kadum, Anshul Kapoor, Kimeto Jepkoech Lily, Pongnugun Kongjadi, Ketki Kulkarni, Manda Rajendra Sumsmita Kulkarni, Siddhi Prashnant Kulkarni, Sohail Madadi Fa, Ishita Maheshwari, Subruja Makande, Leah Sebastian Mavely, Dhruti Hema Rima Mavani, Anju Narayanan, James Noble, Wendy Nelson Nunez, Mindy Uai, Daksha Palav, Vera Panchuray, Mahak Manohar Pansade, Prachi Milind Madhuri Parab, Jessica Pinto, Pataraju Shravan Kumar, Vaishnuvi Prabhu, Daniel Wesley Price, Samuel David Prosser, John Rice, Prashansa Pore, Pauline Robeson, Harriet Brodge, Chandni Sangvi, Roma Sawant, Nida Noor Ahmed Sheikh, Meghana Sheikh, Anushka Suresh Shetty, Preeti Shetty, Marcus Slater, Radhika Mahesh Tila, Kayuri Shah, Subhashini Tirunana Sambandam, Ashwin Noble Thomas, Daniel Torrance, Divya Bharathi Udaya Surayan, Anjali Varma, Nihari Valanki, Prabha Venkata Ramun, Jude Viaboro, Mital Visana, Swarali Anant Wala Walkar, Geeta Wari, Victor Wendling, Neha Wilson, Heidi Wynn, Ratna Meghana Yanamandra, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor will now confer the award.
A wnaeth y myfyrwyr hynny sydd newydd groesi'r llwyfan sefyll os gwelwch yn dda. Would all the students who have just crossed the stage please stand? Trwy'r awdurdod a roddwyd I mi gan y Brifysgol, derbyniaf chi i'ch dyfarniad a'r holl freintiau a ddaw yn ei sgil. Llongyfarchiadau. Congratulations. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Please be seated.
The following students have achieved a doctoral degree, and in recognition of their achievements and research, they will be presented to the presiding officers who will doff in return. I, Professor Stephen Riley, introduce those who have received the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Onyeka Chukwu Ameyabeinomo. Dr. Anfal Aztec. Dr. Gloria Simaglia. Dr. Abir Samir Ajamal. Dr. Alice Louise James. Dr. Kate Jones, Dr. Eleanor McFarlane, Dr. Matthew David Pierce, Dr. Roa Abdulghani Sroj, Dr. Kathleen Walker, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor will now confer the award.
This is the best role in the world this week. A wnaeth y myfyrwyr hynny sydd newydd groesi'r llwyfan sefyll os gwelwch yn dda. Would all the students who have just crossed the stage please stand? Trwy'r awdurdod a roddwyd I mi gan y Brifysgol, derbyniaf chi i'ch dyfarniad a'r holl freintiau a ddaw yn ei sgil. Llongyfarchiadau. Congratulations. Please be seated. Thank you.
Could all those students that have studied in any aspect of healthcare please stand if you're able for the reading of the oath.
I will now declare the oath first in Welsh and then in English, and then I will ask you to agree to the terms of the oath. A ddawaf mai fy mlaenoriaeth gyntaf fydd gofalu am fy nghleifion. Byddaf yn garedig gyda phob claf ac ymdrechaf i gyfathrebu yn effeithlon gyda nhw. Byddaf yn parchu urddas a'i preifatrwydd a'i hawl i gyfrannu'n llawn at benderfyniadau ynglŷn â'i gofal. Byddaf yn onest ac yn ddibynadwy bob amser ac yn parchu a diogelu gwybodaeth gyfrinachol. Ni fydd fy nghredywau personol yn amharu ar ofal fy nghleifion. Trwy gydnabod cyfyngiadau fy nghymhwysedd, byddaf bob amser yn diweddaru fy ngwybodaeth am sgiliau proffesiynol. Os bydd gennyf reswm da i gredu nad o'i fi neu gydweithwyr yn addas i weithio, byddaf yn gweithredu'n gyflym i ddiogelu cleifion rhag perygl. Ni fyddaf yn camddefnyddio fy sefyllfa broffesiynol a byddaf yn gweithio gyda chydweithwyr yn y ffordd orau lles y cleifion. Yn yr holl faterion hyn, ni fyddaf byth yn gwahaniaethu'n anhyg yn erbyn fy nghleifion na'n cydweithwyr, a byddaf yn barod i gyfiawnhau fy ngweithredoedd iddynt ym mhob achos. Rhoddaf yr addewid yma ar fy llw yn wirfoddol ac o ddifrif. Os ydych yn cytuno â thalerau'r llw, dywedwch ydwyf. I promise that I will make the care of my patients my first concern. I will be considerate to all my patients and will strive to communicate effectively with them. I will respect my patients' dignity and autonomy and their right to be fully involved in decisions about their care. At all times, I will be honest and trustworthy, respecting and protecting confidential information. My personal beliefs will not prejudice my care of patients. Recognizing the limits of my competence, I will keep up my professional knowledge and skills up to date. If I believe that I or a colleague may not be fit to practice, I will act quickly to protect patients from risk. I will not abuse my professional position and will work with colleagues in the ways that best serve patients. I will never discriminate unfairly against patients or colleagues, and I will always be prepared to justify my actions to them. I make this promise solemnly, freely, and upon my honour. If you agree to the terms of the oath, say I do. Thank you.
Prynhawn da, good afternoon everyone. We come to the part of the ceremony that celebrates distinguished people for outstanding contributions within their field and to society, to Cardiff, Wales and the world. Today's honorary fellow is Kate Muir. Kate, like you, will be recognized and awarded. Her success is part of your day's success. That recognition is given through the award of Honorary Fellowship. Kate Muir is a women's health expert, investigative journalist, and documentary maker. She created and produced 2 groundbreaking Channel 4 documentaries on the menopause presented by Davina McCall. She has written 3 novels and 4 non-fiction books, including Everything You Need to Know About the Menopause, but You Were Too Afraid to Ask. Her last book, Everything You Need to Know About the Pill, but You Were Too Afraid to Ask, is an investigation into contraception that follows her Pill Revolution documentary. Kate is an expert public speaker on women's health, the menopause and contraception, and an activist for the menopause charity. She has given speeches on menopause to high-profile organizations, including the Ministry of Defence, Lloyd's of London, and the Royal Institution. She's led corporate menopause at work events with leaders and staff at companies, including Deloitte, Bloomberg, Kingfisher, and Exabib, Women in Tech, as well as working with the NHS and charities. She's a former foreign correspondent for The Times in New York and Washington, and served as the newspaper's chief film critic. I will now present this distinguished individual who is to be awarded an honorary fellowship of Cardiff University. Vice-Chancellor, I present to you Kate Muir to be accepted as Honorary Fellow of Cardiff University.
Trwy'r awdurdod arolwyd I mi gan y Cyngor, derbyniaf chi fel Cymrawd Eranrhydedd Prifysgol Caerdydd. Llongyfarchiadau. Kate, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm really honoured to be here, and I'm particularly honoured to be introduced by Arianna, who I recently interviewed about her work on perimenopause and bipolar disorder and mental health. So there's already amazing work going on here at this very university. So on the whole, I'm quite surprised to be here fighting for change in women's health, because I didn't start out at the top of the class here. Long ago, in the time before mobile phones, I was a postgraduate journalism student here at Cardiff. I lived in Splot, in a damp flat above a second-hand car showroom, and I had a brilliant time. I had a brilliant time with all the other trainee postgraduate journalists, and it was so brilliant that I failed my shorthand because the class was scheduled at the unfortunate time of 9 a.m. in the morning. But it was there, and I eventually passed the course, but it was at the Centre for Journalism Studies, which is brilliant here, that I met the tutor who actually changed my life, and his name is Sir Tom Hopkinson. And he was quite old when he was teaching us features and photojournalism, but what he'd done previously was run Drum magazine in South Africa, and he'd exposed the horrors of apartheid in that magazine. And he taught us about photojournalism, and he also taught us to go out there and highlight injustice, even in the smallest way we could. So I've had a long and complicated career since then, but fast forward to 2021, when I found out about the injustice of what was happening to women in menopause. And I found out that 1 in 10 were leaving their jobs. And I also started to investigate the science, and I learned from some brilliant doctors that the new forms of hormone replacement therapy were much safer, much better tolerated, and would change women's lives. And I thought, right, I've got to make a documentary about this. I hadn't made a documentary or any film before, and it took a year of knockbacks. I was just knocked back all the time with this film because it was about older women. And eventually, someone at Channel 4 took the film, and I found Davina McCall to present it. And thereafter, there came a huge menopause health movement. It was already there, but we helped to bring it to tipping point. We made 2 documentaries, 6 million people saw them, and 1 million more women went on hormone replacement therapy. So I felt journalism was at last working. And I'm looking at all of you today and watching you, agree to the Hippocratic Oath. And, the fight for women's health is not yet over. And I know lots of you future healthcare professionals are going to make a huge difference and a huge change out there. And I really also want to congratulate you for being the COVID generation, for having come through what you've come through at university at the same time as getting your degree and being here today. So I'm so proud to be graduating with you. Good luck and ignore the knockbacks.
Diolch yn fawr, and llongyfarchiadau to Kate Buell for that short but very inspiring address, and on a topic that is of importance to every one of us. And llongyfarchiadau to all of the students who have walked across this stage today. You are now part of the Cardiff University alumni community. Cardiff alumni are great global citizens. Some are activists and have high profiles. Others are quiet, solid contributors to their communities, and all the more important for that. Cardiff will have given you more than just a degree. You've been encouraged to ask questions and challenge conventional wisdom. You've shown willingness, determination, and spirit, the real hallmarks of a Cardiff University graduate. You know, the word hiraeth is made for moments like this. It conveys a sense of place, of love, of longing, and memories. And we hope that you will keep hiraeth in your hearts for Cardiff University. Now, before we close this ceremony, there is one last Cardiff University tradition we need to uphold. While today is all about your achievement, it's not something you've done on your own. You've been supported by your family, friends, and of course your lecturers throughout your degree. So can I ask the new graduates in a moment to stand? Everyone in the arena has made a lot of noise for you. Now it's your turn to make even more noise to say thank you, diolch yn fawr, to them. Please stand and applaud them. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, to close our celebrations, here is a film welcoming you to our Cardiff University alumni family. And at the end of the film, please can you stand, everyone here to stand, as the platform party leaves and our ceremony draws to a close. And thank you all for joining us today, and congratulations once again to the class of 2024. Diolch yn fawr.
Take a look around you. Be welwch chi? What do you see? Class of 2024. Today we take stock of everything we've achieved and say thank you to those who always believed. So scroll through memories, cymryd selfies gyda'r besties, and stand up straight for the photographer. Say cheers. Today we remember how we got this far. The late nights and bright lights, and moments we didn't do as well as we might. Pob dyddiad cau, dyfal barhau, o weithio'n galed i'r dathliadau. Today we're rewarded for all the hard work that started way back with the first steps we took. Dropped at Talabont, yng Nghennydd, Aberdare or Aberconwy, I ganol y freshers, heb wybod lle I fynd, heb nabod bob un, nes canfod ffrindiau oes yn neidiau hoff cytun. First dates,
soulmates.
I'm gonna start crying at this rate. Today we're part of something that's hard to describe. The new class of an old tribe. A tradition that'll be there our whole lives. A network that continues to help us thrive. Years from now, we'll see someone with a badge on their tie or hear people on a bus shouting,
Cheese drive.
and we'll remember where we came from, where we came into our own, where we made our mark. Canfod Cartref, where we found a home. Today we make noise like it's the varsity game and count ourselves lucky we found people with the same interests, hobbies, byd o'r hiwmor nes bod ni'n folly. People who tried to shelter us with broken brollies. People who helped us find our limits and push them out the way. People who helped us get to this point.
On this day,
Today is a day we mark everything we've shared. A day we tell people just how much we cared, that they were always there, even when they couldn't be. Roedden ni'n gwybod y deiau eto hael efryn for all the long hours we've had to put in. We still had those nights that went right through till dawn, and days we dug deeper than ever before. So here's to those late night revisers and early risers, to sunny days that passed by in Butte Park, to that special someone who gave us that special spark and helped us to grow, to transform, to dream. Today's for that someone we're proud to have at Team. What happens tomorrow is whatever you choose. Go make news or break news, but absolutely refuse to be told that can't be done, because we've only just begun to make records and break records and make history and break history and say,
Dyma fy mi ddi. This is the world I want to see.
10,
20,
30,
40.
years from now, you'll look back on today and realise you've been by your side the whole way. But right now, right here, let's savour the moment and say, Llongyfarchiadau, congratulations. Let's get the celebrations underway. Take a moment. Look around you. Be welwch chi? What do you see? We're Cardiff University. Croeso, welcome to your alumni community.